There's a Prager University video called "College Made Me a Conservative." Uh, the video is full of faulty arguments. I wanted to go ahead and watch it with you, take apart some of those arguments that we're seeing. Let's go ahead and look at it.
Have you ever heard the old saying that a conservative is just a liberal who got mugged? Well, I got mugged to the tune of $60,000 a year. It's called tuition. Like everyone who cons themselves into attending a liberal arts college, I was captivated by the idea of changing the world. I would immerse myself in a diverse pool of academic thought, theory, and action. Well, it didn't quite work out that way. Over the course of 4 years, I was transformed from a plucky, free-thinking, free spirit into a cranky, get-off-my-lawn conservative. The process started not long after I arrived at my elite East Coast school. I thought I was there to expand my knowledge of the world, to debate the great ideas. I soon realized, however, that my professors had something else in mind. Invariably, each class followed the same monotonous ritual. Identify a problem, say racism, blow it up beyond all proportion, blame the problem on the white majority culture, and then offer an unworkable solution, usually involving the government. Everywhere I turned, I saw political correctness. At first, I just rolled with it. Then I got annoyed. Then it started to tick me off. I was being brainwashed, indoctrinated, and I was paying for the privilege with borrowed money. Almost every speaker who came to campus was a leftist journalist, a leftist activist, or a leftist professor from another leftist school. The ones who weren't leftists were just weird. One time, I attended a film lecture given by a very skilled paraplegic adult film star who showed us some of her art. Another time, I went to a performance given by a woman who engaged in autoeroticism behind a curtain.
No, I can honestly say I've never heard that saying in my life, that a conservative is just a liberal who got mugged. I don't know what kind of college she went to, but I went to college and it was nothing like that. Never had someone that was giving a presentation on erotic behavior behind a curtain. That just didn't exist. And her talking about how leftist professors would come from leftist schools. Can I understand? Most of academia leans left. So people that are conservatives, they have a hard time explaining this, and they say, oh, it's because everyone's indoctrinated. Everyone's just indoctrinated. It's a big conspiracy, college. Okay, what do you think is more likely to be correct? That explanation or the idea that these people have studied things that the majority of the population hasn't studied? Historians, for example, almost all historians are left-leaning. There's a few right-leaning ones, but most are left-leaning. They are reading about the past. They are reading accurate stories of what was going on. They see patterns of wealth inequality. They see patterns of the power structure and how people are taken advantage of that aren't powerful. Understand that historians, they understand reality far better than the majority of the population. It's not that they're indoctrinated and they're not indoctrinating their students. They just plain out understand reality better. Let's go ahead and keep watching.
I couldn't deal with it. The PC culture, the mono-thinking, the weirdness. I needed some way to cope. So I got high almost every day. Parenthetically, most of the worst stoners I knew are now working in finance or politics. In fact, this is what made me first realize that I was a fan of limited government. I do not trust these goofs to make policy. Their power must be constrained. This brings me to another black hole in the college experience: useless majors, the only thing more pervasive than marijuana and irresponsible future leaders. I'm not being judgmental here. I have a degree in film and media studies and political science. Why did I choose them? They're subjects I like talking about. Practical, right? But I wasn't alone. Most of my peers also chose to spend their student loan money on subjects better learned on YouTube or Turner Classic Movies. By the time graduation approached, none of us had developed any actual job skills. And people want to raise taxes to pay for free college for everyone? Are you kidding me? No, just no. I'd only give a free education to a smart kid who promised to get a degree in whatever the exact opposite of my degree is. And that degree didn't come cheap. I took on tens of thousands of dollars of debt, but never spent a minute learning how to manage it. No such classes were even offered. I might have actually learned something useful if they had been. I didn't learn about taxes either, other than that the rich should pay their fair share. It was only after college, when I was lucky enough to get my first job, that I discovered the truth. The government takes away a lot of your money. Frankly, it's shocking. And that's not even counting the mandatory $400 a month deduction for my student loans. I'll probably have that albatross around my neck for the rest of my life.
Okay, so a few things with that. Her claiming that she just got high a lot, that has nothing to do with blaming college as being a waste. The college didn't tell her to go out and get high. The college didn't force her to get a major that she couldn't get a job with. I personally have a lot of friends that got degrees in business and nursing, dental hygiene. I did a degree in history and social science teaching. I'm currently a social science teacher teaching history, geography, those types of subjects. I know lots of people that have been able to get jobs out of college. So her saying that no one could that she went to school with, like, that just doesn't really make sense. Understand that Prager University and even a lot of extremely wealthy people, they don't want a lot of people going to college, because when individuals gain a lot of knowledge, it makes them challenge the status quo more, makes them question what's going on in society, makes them question wealth inequality, makes them analyze and realize that a lot of the wealthiest people in the world, they're mainly in that situation because of their families and because of the advantages that they gain from birth. A lot of them inherit money. A lot of them are able to get into the top schools because of their parents. So them making college out to be this horrible thing, it's a waste for most people. I just understand that's not accurate. She talked about how she's in crazy debt. I know a lot of people that had scholarships in college, or at least like partial scholarships. I had one. If you study hard, you can get those kinds of things. But with that, like, yeah, there's still the idea like college shouldn't be so expensive. She talked about the rich should pay their fair share. She said that sarcastically, as if it's this wild idea. Understand, capital gains tax is extremely low. People can make crazy money on their investments, and they don't have to pay the same tax rate on those investments as someone who's working a job as like a waiter or waitress or a janitor even has to. That's crazy. You can have people working 2 jobs and paying a decent amount in taxes, and then someone that's like an executive, they pay a regular tax rate on their first job, but their investment, which you can view as a second job because it's generating wealth, they don't have to pay as high of a rate in taxes. Let's go ahead and keep watching, see what else this propaganda outlet is pushing.
Really, I can't believe my peers and I spent so much time shaming conservatives for wanting to lower taxes. A past version of myself would call this desire to keep what I earn selfish. The current, cheerfully realistic version of me knows this. I can spend my money much better than the politically correct stoners who are running the government can. So I guess, in a roundabout way, I did get something of value out of my expensive liberal arts education after all. Common sense. I'm Jay Stevens for Prager University.
I agree with the idea of people being able to keep what they earn, but her argument doesn't make sense. It doesn't go along with logic. If libertarians and ultra-conservatives had their way, people could get exploited by payday loan companies. You can make people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for surgeries and medical procedures. That's not them keeping what they earn. That's them getting taken advantage of because they're in a vulnerable position. The idea that people on the left don't want anyone to keep what they earn. No, we don't want people to have unearned wealth. We don't want people to have $1 trillion like Bezos is on track to get, when you have others that are working hard, working 70-hour weeks and barely getting by. An argument that she and others on the right just want people to keep what they earn. Like, no, don't buy into that. She talks about how stoners are the politicians making the decisions, like those that she knew from school. I don't know any stoners that are politicians. I've done political internships with the state legislature in my state, the lieutenant governor's office. I've done congressional campaign races. I've met politicians, and not one of them seemed like the stoner type. So that's an argument meant to try to discredit politicians, make it seem like, oh, anyone in the public is better than any politician that we have. That just doesn't make sense. Again, understand Prager University wants to discredit universities, wants to discredit the left in any way. They strawman their arguments. They are one of the biggest propaganda outlets that are out there today. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. There'll be more coming out on history, politics, Prager University. Thanks for watching.